Welcome to Mercy's Designs. My name is Mercy and I sell Stampin' Up! Products. Today I'm going to show you how to make these little bags from the Dressed to Impress stamp set and dies. So the dies are right here in the stamps. So this long one makes the straps, and you can either make a purse, a tote bag, or a little backpack, and it's just adorable. So to get started, I have already run my paper through the die cutting machine, and this is the Parisian DSP. So when I first did with this one, this was my first one for the backpack, I kind of was thinking this is the top. I don't know why, but it isn't. So if your paper's directional, make sure you pay attention when you're doing that. So I'm going to set this aside. I think this is a great little gift bag. Perfect. If you want to include more, I would definitely make it more into the purse. If you want to fit a gift card in, you can. So what I'm doing is I'm just burnishing all these score lines. This is important to do this before you try to assemble. So you have to run it through 2 times through the your die cutting machine. So basically we're trying to get a little point here, here, and folding along here. So for this part, I want it to go inward, so I'm doing that. So that one will be like that one. And I will quickly do this one as well. It's kind of, this is the, if there's a tricky part, this is probably it. I have not tried this doing this whole purse with cardstock, but I think it would work, although it'd be slightly harder with the burnishing, I would think. So, okay, so here we have it. Now, I did watch a tutorial from someone in Germany, and she, I bet, explained it very well, but I do not understand a single word of German. Well, a few, you know, but not enough to be functional. And what she suggested was to, or what she did, because again, I don't speak German, was she first did these ends. Now, when you're doing this, be sure to fold it out so you know you're lining it up, because you don't want it too much and you don't want it too little. And I do suggest using the wet glue. So I'm just going to slide this slightly. Okay, so that looks good. The next part will be to go ahead and attach this side to here. So I'm just going to add some wet glue here. I definitely prefer wet glue for this, but you could probably use your tear and tape. I would not recommend using the snail because there's a fair amount of pressure on this. So I'm just trying to make this straight. You can see that. You don't want too much or too little. You don't want to underlap or overlap. You want it just right, which the wet glue definitely makes that much more possible. So I'm just trying to make sure I get this perfectly lined up here as well. So that looks pretty good. Now the next step is these, you have these little flaps here and here, and I'm just going to go ahead and add a little wet glue here to here, and I'm going to flip one of them forward, and then while it's still wet, I'm going to go ahead and add here and make sure that it's kind of square, at least as much as I can. And one thing that could help you make sure it's nice and sealed is to take your bone folder and just push down on it. That will help. So that is what it looks like. Now I wanted mine to go inward, so all I'm doing is going to pinch it so it goes in. So like so. I'm just trying to work this carefully, not applying too much pressure. So that's my backpack. Next, I'm going to bring in the straps. You run 2 of these through. I'll bring out the die. You run it through 2 times. Now I'm going to loosen the fibers by starting to work it. Essentially, I'm curling it. Not too difficult. I'm going to set that aside. since we don't want to have that in our way. And then we're going to go ahead and attach the hardware, quote unquote. I ran this little piece. I have two of them, and actually I'll just bring both of them. These through, and you will get 4 if you run it through both of them. So I have adhesive backing on this, so I'm just going to go ahead and remove that right now. You can do it with the glue, but it's going to be a little bit harder. And with the foil paper, glue is not your friend. It definitely kind of dulls it and makes it kind of yucky. So I'm just trying to center this as best as I can. And if it's not perfect, that's okay. No one's going to complain, I'm sure. So I'm basically attaching it here and here. And then we'll do the same thing for all 4. I guess I could have done some of this ahead, but maybe I'll speed it up. Here we have the 2 straps ready to go. Now with the backpack, whatever you decide is the front, they're going to be higher. Whatever you decide is the back, they're going to be lower. So I'm just going to go ahead and attach one at a time. It's not too difficult, but you do want to spend some time. So I'm just going to kind of line this up like here. And I'm just going to hold it for a little bit. Ooh. And I'm kind of cold down here. I'm in my basement. So if I'm shaking a little, that's why. There, that should be good. You don't want to rush that part. There is some pressure on this, so be sure to use enough glue, but not so much that it oozes, if possible, which I did get a little bit of oozing, which I hate, especially with foil paper. So again, we're going to look at this. And this one I have a little too high compared to the other one. It's mostly about matching it. There's no right or wrong per se. You just want to try to have them both uniform. And I feel like also, yeah, you want to have it so this is more centered. This one is better, but I'm not going to worry too much unless I can. I think it's too set now. So I'm not going to worry, but keep that in mind that you kind of want this a little bit more over for aesthetic purposes. All right, so I'm just going to quickly glue these down. I'm going to go ahead and try to do these both at the same time, but I might regret that. We shall see. So again, I want to have this quite a bit further down because this is a backpack. The purse or the tote bag, you don't do that as much. So I'm going to kind of have these like so, but the main thing is to try to make them as uniform as possible. And this is a little harder on video than in person, and you're going to have to hold it for, you know, enough time, not for just 1 second. Now I didn't continue to glue up here. I want them kind of loose, just attached, much like a backpack would be. Although it's pretty faux backpack, I have to say. I wouldn't want to try to put this on my back. Okay, so this one I feel like it needs to be, you know, lined up a little bit better that way. I want it to kind of hit up here. If that makes sense. All right, I think that's pretty well set. Okay, so the next step is we're going to do the pocket and do a little coloring. So for the, actually, one more thing. This is going to be the strap that holds it shut. So you want to do the same technique as far as like loosening up the fibers. So I'm going to flatten that back out, and I'm going to go ahead and add my button so that you will know exactly where it's supposed to open. Otherwise it could be a little confusing for the recipient. I can't say that. But the person you're giving it to. And we don't want that. And the button will help like define that better. I'm just gonna get a little piece of tear and tape. Okay, make sure this is gonna be the back side. The tear and tape will just allow this whole process to be slightly faster. So I consider this the front. And the back, I'm just going to go ahead and attach this, you know, try to be centering it, you know, like so. And then I'm going to get in my Velcro strips. So what I do with the Velcro strips, I'm taking it off one of them and just mating it up. And you don't want to try to get your fingers on that too much, which I am, unfortunately, more than I would like. And then you just press it where you want it and then pull it forward. And by loosening those fibers, you're going to have a nice little, it'll bend easier without creasing it, or at least not too much. So that is the front for now, but we're going not finished. We're going to do a little bit of stamping. So I'm going to set this aside for a sec. And we're going to stamp this fun greeting. It says, "Hello, Fabulous." And I think this would make a great pick-me-up gift or a birthday gift. So this is kind of a neutral, you know, fun thing, pardon the pun, saying or sentiment. I'm just trying to center this as best I can. Now I went ahead and did this in black. I could have done it in the cherry cobbler, which is what my original plan was. So I actually have a second one, which I didn't bring my thing to clean this, but I just stamped it off. Oh, that's not what I want. So here's the other one, and we're gonna see which one I like better. Sorry, you can't weigh in. Okay, so "Hello, Fabulous." And that's pretty cute with the color. I kind of like it better than the black. Okay, so both of them we're going to set aside. And I'm going to speed this next part up. I'm going to color this lipstick. And I'm going to use Cherry Cobbler and the Smoky Slate. So sit back and I will start coloring. Okay, so here we have our fabulous lipstick and our little pocket. So we're not going to use the black one. I'm going to bring this back in. Now I would suggest using dimensionals, but be sure to keep them on the edges mostly, because we want to be able to slip in the lipstick part way. So I'm just going to add a few here real quick. I'm using the little ones. You can use the big ones, whatever you have handy. Okay, so I'm going to just take off the backings here real quick and put this on. I think this is just adorable. I think it makes a great holder for gift cards, and you can put a little candy in, and it's just so sweet. Okay, so the main thing here, actually I do need to keep this fairly low because we have a lot to fit in. Okay, so it could be over a little, but we're not going to mess with it. And I have cut out with the DSP for the Best Dress set a little perfume bottle. So I'm going to go ahead and use that because I think that just really sets it off. So we're going to eventually put it in there. I'm going to do it this way. So I'm just going to add a little bit of glue so that I can attach the perfume. And I'm going to go ahead and kind of do a dry run here and see you know, if I need to move it or whatever. And I think that's pretty good. So next I'm just going to add a little glue on the back and put it in our pocket because we gotta have our fun girly part to this purse. And I do have it overlapping a little here, but I don't think that takes away from it. I think it's just adorable. So if you enjoyed this tutorial, please give me a thumbs up and consider subscribing. Tap the bell for notifications if you do subscribe. I try to put out a video about once a week. This is from the Dress to Impress set, and I'll bring back in my tote bag. And then this was my original that I used with retired DSP. This is the honeycomb DSP that you can earn for free through Celebration. If you would like any information about joining Stampin' Up! Or placing an order with a host code, please email me at mewants3@gmail.com and I'd be happy to assist you. I also wanted to mention this paper here is Lovely Lipstick, and I think it really sets off the gold in the black. Really super cute. But the backpack was what really captured my attention when I first saw this suite, and I just thought I have to have that. It's just so darn cute. This is the back side, which is also very cute, and I think it looks really cute with this paper, this DSP with the French. So, all right, thank you so much for watching and happy stamping.